Ooh, hey guys. I'm just gonna make a little story time video. And then I might make some more videos, who knows, because I'm upstairs and I don't know, I very seldom come up here. But I said I was gonna try to spend more time up here. But anyway, I was thinking about cleaning out my closets. I'm feeling so much better. The doctor told me I could take the back brace off and my weight limit, I think he said, is no more than 20 pounds. So, but I'm doing so much better. I was thinking about I was going through some of the books and stuff that I've written, but I'm gonna write another book. I don't know how I'm gonna do it because it's about a very sensitive subject, and you really have to tell on yourself if you're gonna tell it on everybody else. Tell what you did. That's what it's about. So I'm gonna have to, get another a pen name or something, and we'll worry about that in the end. I just need to write. But I don't know if I showed you guys this book because I had forgot I even written it. But this is a book I wrote, An Angel Without a Name. Now, that's not me on that book, because God, I didn't, that's not me. But we did find a picture. The publisher did. But it's kind of like a sequel to the first book I wrote, because it was a lot of things in the first book that really weren't clear. So this, what it is, it's a sequel to it. But I picked up another book I wrote, and it's a fiction book, the first fiction book I wrote, and I just started reading because it was so interesting. And for a minute, I forgot that I wrote this book, and I said, "Dang, this is getting kind of scary." But after I remembered that, I said, "Oh, I wrote this book," so I just started thumbing through it, and I got to be okay. But this book, I'm just gonna read the last page of it, and the reflection part of it. Um, Something I had plumb forgot that I used to do. As y'all know, I've told you guys that I was addicted to rock cocaine. And a long time ago, and I still do that now, when people go somewhere and I say, "What you want me to bring you back?" I say, look on the ground, just pick me up a rock and bring it back to me. I love rocks and crystals and stones. But I've had a past life regression. In one of the lives, I was a stonemason, and this was way before I even had these back accidents at Home Depot when this box fell on me. This hadn't even happened, but in this past life regression, I was a stonemason. And I had built the walls around the castle, and I was talking about what I had done. But when he take you under, the first thing he asks you to do is to look at your feet when he thinks you're hypnotized enough. And it's easy to hypnotize me. So I looked at my feet and I was telling him what kind of shoes I had on, and I knew I was a man. But I told him about the walls and the stone. I was a stonemason. And I told him I could barely walk, that my back, from picking up the stones, most of my life, I was injured. And he asked me how old I was. And I told him that I was almost 70. And I think he asked me, did I have any children? And I told him, no, I didn't have children because I had watched my mother die in childbirth when I was young. And I never wanted the woman that I love to go through that because I was afraid she was going to die. So this woman that I was in love with, because I would not give her children. I would when I was getting ready to ejaculate inside of her, I would pull out and let it spill on the floor. And she didn't like that. She wanted children. But I was somewhere, it seemed like I was in Spain or something. But then after that past life, I went into another past life regression. But it was the other one was real. Wow, you talk about crazy. I was on the sofa, and then I got into a fetal position. He asked me what was wrong. And I told him they are throwing these stones at me. So here's these things with the stones and the rocks. I said I was being stoned. And he asked me why. And I said, for speaking my truth. They stoned me. So then a second life, I was stoned. And then all of a sudden, I could see myself sitting at a table. And it seemed like it was at least 10 people. It was a long table, and we all had hooded robes. But all of a sudden, you know how a magician snatches a tablecloth and the food remains in the same position? This happened. And he asked me, was I okay? I said, but I just want them to stop stoning me. And he could see I started to cry. And then he brought me out of this past life regression. And he left, and this was the weirdest thing. Man, I might have to make 2 videos about this. The way I ended up meeting this guy, he was one of the guys that was telling me about this Vipassana in a couple of the last videos I made. He was a member of a group of people, a black man, very intelligent, and I think he has a YouTube channel, Steve McGuirter. Very, I mean, I can't even, words cannot describe his intelligence when it comes to metaphysics. So anyway, Steve was a particular man. I never met anybody like him. He wanted pockets. His pants, he wanted as many pockets on his pants as you could get. And I sold back then. And I still sold now, but, not like I used to. So he wanted me to trade off some spiritual work for putting pockets on his pants. So I went and got him, I think, 3 pair of Dickies, because I knew I was going to use 1 pair to cut up and actually make the extra pocket. He wanted cargo pants at his foot and extra ones, just, because cargo pants, well, Dickies don't have that many pockets, but I had to make these Dickies into cargo pants. So I started, I made pockets, but each pocket had to have to fit certain things. He wanted a pocket for his passport and his scissors and his knife and everything this man owned, he wanted on his pocket because he lived mostly on his motorcycle. He had a BMW motorcycle, I never will forget that. And he had a tent. He was just shaped to be on the road. I guess that's why he could do that Vipassana. You got 10 days and, you don't have to worry about where you're going to live. So, but anyway, I made these pockets. And then he would try them on and then put his little items in these pockets. And this one was a little tight and this one was too loose. And so I had to adjust it. And I said, Steve, leave me these items because I can't make these pockets and you don't leave me the item that I'm supposed to adjust. And this man did not want to leave the pockets with me. And I pleaded with him because we wasn't going to ever get anywhere. So he said, well, I want my stuff back by the end of the day. I said, okay, just so I can get a measurement. So believe it or not, I think after 2 weeks of this, maybe longer, we finally got these pockets on his pants to his liking. Now, if I'd have been charging this man to make these pockets, it would have been a $200 job. It would have. This is how much work it was. So, but I had never had past life regression, and I really didn't want it. I don't know. I'd rather have a massage, but he didn't do massages. So anyway, so the day came that he was going to do the past life regression, and that's how he got into regressing me. But it's something in my past that has to do with rocks. And in one life, I know I was stoned, and another life, I was a stone masonry. And then I'm gonna read you this little part, and I had plumb forgot this. And this is coming out of this book. It says, when I was a child, I used to pick up small rocks and put them in my mouth, ears, and even my nostrils. One time I forced a rock in my nostril and couldn't get it out. I ran into the house crying. My mom didn't know what to do. Thankfully, Mima, that's what I call my grandmother, Mima was there. She put some black pepper around my nose. When I started to sneeze, she pressed her finger against the nostril that was clear. The sneeze blew the rock from my nose. I got a good spanking and was glad to get the rock out of my nose. And it goes on, but I still collect rocks now. And I repeated that past life regression. The rock that nearly killed me in this lifetime was the rock cocaine. And then I go on to say, maybe I was a rock in the beginning of time. Just kidding. But my story with the cocaine, when I realized about the rocks and how I love stones and things, that the rock cocaine almost killed me. And I mean, I even after being off of it for a long time, I was still afraid, and I had to write this voice. I kept a diary, and that's how I ended up getting free from this cocaine. But I would do some, and people that's on this, anybody has a habit. You do some strange things to support your habit. But in the I was going to AA trying to rehab with them, but I had been clean probably over 5 years when I went to AA. No, I went one time before, but my sponsor ended up overdosing and dying, so that kind of turned me off. But I stood up and said that, hi, my name is Mary. I was a drug addict. And boy, they had a fit. They lit into me and told me I was in denial and I will always be a drug addict and an alcoholic. And I just didn't sit too well with me. And I said, well, if you used to steal and you don't steal anymore, you're still a thief. Or if you had cancer and you don't have it anymore, or do you still have cancer? And they said that being a drug addict was an illness. And I said, well, still, can it be cured? And they told me I was trying to escape the issues and they would like it if I left. So I left. But they did ask me to come back and read some portions of my book, Going Home Another Way. But I could tell you guys some story about how silly I was. I would smoke this stuff and I could feel my heart just about to jump out of my chest, just sweating and just hot. And I would get a thermometer and go run me a tub of cold water and sit there and try to get my body temperature back down. And when my body temperature got up to 107, I got up to 107, I knew I had that cold water. I think I went and got some ice too. And when it got back down to normal, I go right back and start smoking cocaine again. It was crazy. But I had to literally move my myself physically from that house that my ex and I lived in, because everything in that house reminded me of my addiction. So I left. I went and got an apartment, and I had to get away from him also. But the words that I wrote in that book, that's what saved me. And I had to stop running from cocaine. That's what I was doing. I was running. And I had to turn around and look at what cocaine was doing. It's like your enemies. You can't face your enemies when you're running from them. So I once I turned around and stopped running, then the fear was gone. And it's been, oh God, I say 25 years. You know, after it's been, you gone and been clean so long, and you're going to be this way for the rest of your life. So you kind of stop counting. But I believe it was in 1993 or 94. So however that long is in 2018, 25 or 24 years, whatever. But I'm so thankful. My friend named Mary, her name is Mary, and she has made up her mind that she will die a drug addict. I'm gonna, this is gonna be a part two, because I got to tell you about Miss Mary. She doesn't do YouTube or nothing, so she ain't gonna know that I'm making a video about her. I don't know what this beeping noise is. Anyway, I'll be back with a second portion of this video. Bye.